I'll never forget the referee pretending to blow the whistle to trick the Germans and then telling English to hurry on and get a goal, that's probably the first most vivid memory I have of World Cup moments. In that same World Cup, you had the ball that went over the line but didn't go over the line, and this is the kind of stuff I see as moments. How's it going? I'm Brien Kerr, Irish football legend. And here are a collection of memories that I've kind of picked from over the years. I hope you enjoy them. Now, where else would you start if you didn't start with the hand of God, Maradona? Well, some people say this was cheating, but I just think he out goalkeeper, the goalkeeper, he doesn't get enough credit for that. At this stage, I'd like to say that the crew here, the English crew here, have told me that I have to pick, vary it up, I have to pick some other stuff besides things that make England look bad. I said I would if they let me say this, and so I hope this is in the edit, otherwise I'll be looking for blood, I will. Anyway, here's a few more. Who could forget it? USA 94, Terry Phelan was trying to stop Ray Houghton from doing a Nazi salute. I know Ray well, he's a great guy, but the heat had got to him, the heat was getting to everyone over there. At one point, poor old Jack Charlton was so racked from the heat that he was looking for a touchdown. Wrong sport, Jack, wrong sport. And let's go a few years back to before that, in another kind of hot country, Italia. And Paul McGrath, here he is, the great Paul McGrath, tackling a guy from Egypt and bandaging him up at the same time. It just shows how good he was, Now, a lot of people will find this strange, but I'm good mates with Paul, and I used to use the N-word around him all the time, Non-alcoholic, he fucking hated that word, Now, before I carry on, I just need to say and clarify that this, and I must mention, English crew, I think that with the BBC, they have told me that it can't be all moments from the Irish team, good moments from them, and so basically, nothing that makes Ireland look good and England look bad. Now here's a mad one. We got here the Germans were starting to have a big brawl between each other, And fair play to the Brazilian lads. They got down and prayed for him. They prayed for peace in that moment, Here we have Dennis Bergkamp doing the first ever You Can't See Me. Everyone thinks that John Cena from the WWE, well, he was the one that came up with that. But Dennis Bergkamp, he was doing that back in the 90s. I'll never forget this moment when one Italian player knocked out the other. It was over a calculator. He had kept using his calculator and he just had enough. And, sometimes you have to do stuff like that, And look how happy the steward is behind, because I think he knew the score, He's probably using his calculator as well, I'm just saying. But these guys, they were characters. That's what they were. And sometimes I wonder, have we lost those characters? Like this fella here, this keeper, right? He used to face the other way the whole match and make all his saves without even looking at the ball, It was something else, You don't see that anymore, A backwards keeper. Here's a Brazilian player ascending to heaven. They play such good football. Here's the Spanish team, the whole team, baiting the crap out of a security guy. He was yapping, and he kind of got what he deserved. Again, we see some great teamwork here from the Dutch side, And I don't know what they were doing this World Cup, but somehow they were collectively funneling the other players into one of their players' asses, It was a crazy tactic. Speaking of crazy moments, they kind of involving teamwork, but it's a little bit of a spin on it. In this World Cup moment, the Brazilian team had decided to turn on Ronaldo and were chasing him to kill him. But here's the crazy thing, if that's not crazy enough, he was loving it. And people say this is where Mel Gibson got the idea for a apocalypto. It was originally called a pocket kick, though. Now, if you know me, you know I love a good knock. So this was a great moment for me when this guy Alvarez grabbed the keeper by his Mickey Joe Johnsons, you know. But here's the thing, look at the keeper's face. He's in pain, he's in agony, but he's loving it. Just like Ronaldo in the previous moment. And who could forget when Roberto Baggio lost his car keys? He had the whole place looking for him. And you know what the funny thing is? I can't even remember if he ever found them. And you can't mention World Cups without mentioning the great one, Messi. Here he is in this moment, using his mind powers against the opposition team. He even slightly injured his own player, which he apologised for later on, apparently. Telepathically as how he done it, I'm told. But another great moment, another great World Cup moment. We learned a lot about Messi because we figured out why he was so good. Because there's another person growing out the back of him. That's why he's got all the powers that he has, you know. I think they call that fella a little Messi, that's what his name is. Another funny moment from a World Cup was when this guy was told his clown wig was after falling off. Well, I thought it was a nice moment when this referee and this player swapped shirts at the end of the game. Because the referee, he was after robbing the other fella, so I kind of thought it was honest and, you know, it was good to see. And now we go from good to see to unbelievable to see. Look at the Croatian team here celebrating. And you know, people didn't notice it at the time, but this guy was so happy that he died. Look at him. He's after dying on the pitch while still celebrating. That's how much this victory has meant to him. He's fucking dead. And of course the dance they call the Italance, you know, between the French player and the Italian player, and you know, nobody knew they were even going to do it. And then to perform it the way they did on the biggest stage of all, you know, it was amazing. Now I know Zidane had to leave quickly afterwards, you know, because he was tired, but like, it was something to behold. Now this crew have just informed me, and you know, as an extra bonus, probably because of the way they've been treating me, is that, you know, I can get my favourite moment and they can use artificial intelligence, bring that life into that moment, you know. How they do that, I'm not too sure, but they're able to go in and hear what the players were saying at the time of the incident. So, you know, and the gloves are off, yes, they tell me pick whatever I want, so here's my favourite moment from a World Cup.
What's that about?
Stay down, pretty boy.
I'll show you pretty. I'm pretty disgusting.
He's farting.
Up you get.
Come on,
Up you
it's
get.
fine.
Come on,
It's
I can smell it.
disgusting.
I can
Are
see
there
it.
razors, buddy?
Birds goats can't smell anything.
You liar.
I think maybe he done a poo. I think some got in my nostrils. Can you check my nostrils? I think there's some up there. Will you have a
You
look?
get out of here. We have a say in jolly old England. You don't smell
You know
that.
that's not always true, my friend. Isn't that right, Blood Skulls?
Birds goats can't smell anything.
Come on, lad, here's the noise off my
Sorry,
boot.
buddy, but that is disgusting. You
Yeah,
have to go.
just can't be right. Okay, you want some farts here, some more, eh?
Oh,
Put them on you, huh? Put them on you, what you gonna do about it, eh? What's happening with that, my nostrils too?
Birds goats can't smell anything.
Oh, I guess I'm
All
off,
right,
isn't
David,
it?
straight to the
Right.
bathroom.
Well,
Come on, mate. Straight to the bathroom now.
That's rather unpleasant. Blooming hell. What's he had?
Artificial grass did loads for the common game and the modern game. So, you know, no artificial intelligence has come in, and wasn't that video something else? It's basically the way I remember it perfectly. So, you know, an artificial sounds, you know, it rhymes with official. So, you know, we use official a lot of time in football, so who knows? Anyway, so there you have my favourite moments over the years, you know, and I hope you enjoyed them. I'm Brien Kerr.